Hi friends, in the previous video I have explained about the turbocharger, its role and significance in the internal combustion engine, how a turbocharger is built, which are all the important parts a turbocharger contains, and how the turbocharger works. Now in this video I am going to explain about the installation procedure of a turbocharger, what precautions to be taken during the installation of the turbocharger, and which are all the maintenance practices to be followed in engine as well as in the turbocharger for the long life of the turbocharger. This is the turbocharger which we have talked in detail in the previous video. I'm going to brief you once again about the turbocharger main components and how it works. Turbocharger is having mainly three components. This is the turbine section with turbine housing and all, and this is the compressor section. This is the compression wheel and compression housing, and center one is called the center support, which supports the bearing, shaft, seals, etc. This is the lubricating oil supply tube, and this is the lubricating oil drain tube. This is the oil gallery. The orange color one is the oil gallery. Oil comes from the engine, then passes through this passage, lubricating this bearing and lubricating this bearing, and also lubricating the thrust bearing. This side the thrust bearing is available. Have a quick look. When the engine is running, the exhaust gases passes through the turbine side of the turbocharger, hitting the vanes of the turbine, rotating the turbine, and turbine is connected other side with the compressor wheel through a shaft. Turbine rotates, shaft rotates, and compressor wheel rotates, whereas the compressor wheel vanes are in opposite direction. So because of that direction, the air from atmosphere is sucked inside the turbocharger compressor side, and same is being pumped with pressure through a charge air cooler or intercooler. The purpose of charge air cooler is to cool the hot air, to increase the density of the air. Then it is charged inside the engine. This is the purpose of this is the job of the turbocharger. Now in this video we are going to discuss about how the turbo has to be installed and what kind of maintenance tips and operating practices one has to follow. So before moving to that one, see this figure. What I told you, this is having main three housings: turbine housing, compressor housing, and center housing. There is always pressure difference between turbine housing and center housing, because always the pressurized exhaust gases will be passing through this housing, and there will not be any pressure in this center housing except oil pressure. This side also, whatever the air is entered from the atmosphere, once it touches the vanes of the compressor wheel, pressurizes, and pressurized air is pumped through the outlet. So here also there is a pressure. So this pressure comes through the back side of this compressor wheel and creates a mild pressure here. Same way here also, exhaust gases will be acting back side of the compressor wheel, creating mild pressure. How pressure is going to help the sealing rings, I am going to tell you. This is the common shaft. This groove is meant for the sealing ring. That is sealing ring. Here also these grooves are meant for the sealing rings. When the oil comes here after lubricating, then it tends to pass through this. It tends to come to the seal area. Seal will be freely moving inside the groove with some clearance. So there is every possibility that oil pass through this seal ring gap. To arrest that one, the pressure what is acting is here from the exhaust gases and from the compressed air will be opposing the entry of the oil. Whatever is minor quantity is coming out from here. Like this there is an advantage of having this differential pressure. First of all, when you want to change the turbocharger, the most important thing is that one, why the previous turbocharger is failed. What is the root cause of the failure of the turbocharger? That is most important. Without analyzing the failure, if you install a new turbocharger, again the new turbocharger is going to fail. Analyze the failure, then fix the identified issue. What are the issues identified? Fix that one before fixing the new turbocharger. This is important. During installation, you have to do certain important jobs. This is called checking the end play of the turbo shaft. Means this horizontal movement you have to check up with the help of the magnetic base dial gauge. Every turbo manufacturer will give certain limit of end flow. No turbocharger should be tight without any movement. There is some gap, okay, to maintain the oil film. So, and there is some gap to maintain the oil film between the shaft face and also thrust bearing. So this end flow is required to maintain that oil film. At the same time, it should not be more than the recommended limit. Here it is checking the radial clearance between the compressor wheel vanes and the compressor wheel housing. This you have to check up to assert the recommended clearance between the bearings and housing and between the bearing and shaft. So these two you have to check up and ensure that these movement or clearances are as per the manufacturer recommendation. Next, when you are installing the new turbocharger, you must prime the turbocharger with the fresh oil, maybe 20-30 ml. You have to pour through the turbo oil supply hole, inlet hole, and rotate the turbo wheel with hand so that bearings and shaft until reaches to the thrust bearing also. So priming has to be done. The next job, you must replace this oil supply hole. Why? There is a very possibility in the old hose, the passage might have blocked with the oil debris, contaminated oil, because it is a very small diameter hose. The oil has to come with pressure, so the inner diameter of the hose will be very less. So instead of cleaning with compressed air and all, you have to replace it in the interest of safety of the turbocharger. Next, you must use only genuine gasket here. This is a gasket. You should not use any local gaskets. You use the local gasket, there is a possibility peeling off the gasket and obstructing the oil supply passage. Same, you should not use any kind of gasket sealant or silicone gasket, etc. Because once you use that one, there is a very possibility when you tight these bolts, the whatever this semi-solid state gasket paste may come and obstruct the this oil passes. Maintenance and operating tips I am going to discuss here. Why I am showing this figure repeatedly? This is very important. This red chamber, turbine housing, turbine wheel. This blue is the compressor housing and compressor wheel. This is the common shaft and wheel, because this turbine wheel and this shaft are welded through a special welding process called electric beam welding. They are dynamically balanced, both the wheel and shaft. Okay. Then this is a separate piece fastened to this one as per the laid down procedure. Okay. These bearings, you can see these bearings. These gunmetal bearings are freely floating both outside and inside. Outside in the sense this is free in the center housing. Same time the bearings are free on the shaft also. So the oil clearance has to be maintained, oil film has to be maintained both outside the bearing and inside the bearing. Oil will come like this, passes through this manifold. There is a hole is drilled here, falls on this bearing. Bearing is having circumferential drill holes. You can see these tiny holes. Same way here. The oil passes while lubricating the outside. Then the oil passes through this hole and maintain the oil film between the shaft and the bearing. Simultaneously, the oil also passes. This is a thrust bearing which is towards the compressor wheel side. So the turbocharger, while rotating circumferential, there is every possibility tends to move this side, that side also. So to limit that movement, this thrust washer is maintained. Oil comes up to these rings. These are the rings provided to arrest the oil leakage here. And when it comes to the compressor side, majority of oil is drained. When it reaches here to the thrust washer, it hits this, and because of the rotation and centrifugal action, oil drops, drains here. This is the drain chamber, and oil comes like this. So here you have to understand these bearings are freely moving both outside and inside. Only in some model of the bearings, one of the bearing is locked with a special lock. It's not tight fit. It is locked with special lock in some of the turbochargers. Okay. You can see here further elaborately. This is the again compressor side, that is inlet side. This is exhaust side, turbine side. See the bearings with holes. This bearing with holes. This is for the seal ring groove. Same way it will be here, seal ring groove. This is the thrust bearing. Okay. What I told in the previous slide, we must maintain certain movement, axial movement, horizontal movement in a limited way, because here the oil film has to be maintained. This is called end play of the turbocharger, which has to be within the limit. Same way as the bearings has to maintain the oil film both outside and inside. When you move this compressor wheel at one end or turbine wheel at one end, it will be having some play, because it has to maintain some clearance here for passing the oil. So that's why nobody should get confused or misinterpreted why this shaft is very free. Shaft should be free and shaft should allow some clearance. I just explained here once again repeatedly. This grey one is considered as a central housing of the turbocharger. The orange one is this is the bearing, and the center blue one is the shaft, and this yellow, whatever the gap is there, yellow gap is there, this is the oil film. It will be like this. So this bearing, for the easy understanding, I am telling you, this bearing is free both in housing and as well as the shaft. Now the installation is over. You understood how this housing and also this both housings are helping the seal rings to prevent the seepage leakage of the oil from one side to the housings. Now let us have a look. See these figures. Why it happened like this? Why these are happened? These are bearings. This is the bearing. This is the bearing. These bearings. Okay. The center one may be spacer. Okay. This is at one end of the shaft. This place. Why they have become like that? This is not the fault of the turbocharger. This is not the fault of the turbocharger. Then why? What is the problem? Why it has become like that? Because when you start a turbocharged engine, by the time oil reaches here, Because immediately the oil is not available here. Oil has to come from the pump, engine gallery and passages and through this pump. So from oil pump which is in the sump to reaching this place, it takes few seconds, some time it takes. Whereas the moment you start the engine, exhaust gases will come and hit this turbine, making the turbine wheel and this turbocharger to rotate. And turbochargers rotates at engine high speed turbochargers rotates up to 2,50,000 revolutions per minute. Okay, when you start the engine, then suddenly give the acceleration, this start rotating at 2,50,000. Imagine 2,50,000. So even if it takes 10 seconds or 15 seconds also, it rotate almost 65-70 revolutions by the time oil reaches here. If it takes 30 seconds, it reaches more than 1,00,000. But without the lubrication, point number 1. Point number 2, there must be some residual oil film will be available when the engine is stopped. But oil flow is not available here. What happens to the residual quantity of oil when it is rotating? When it is in such a high speed, here the friction is generated between the shaft and the bearings, even between the bearing and housing also. Because of that friction and lack of the lubricating oil flow, whatever the oil deposit is available here, it gets overheated and forming like a coke. So a kind of coke formation takes place. This is that such coke formation takes place. And that coke formation doesn't stop it here. It blocks the holes of the bearings partially or fully. Also blocks the clearance between the bearings and shaft and bearings and the housing. And so insufficient lubrication. Again insufficient lubrication, again the friction, again the wear out of the bearings and shaft. What we have to understand here, whenever you start the engine, you must keep the engine in idle for about 2 minutes. You should not accelerate the engine immediately. By keeping the engine in idle run for about 2 minutes, within that 1.5-2 minutes, oil from oil pump to this place, the oil reaches here. But in idle run of 600-700 RPM, turbo runs hardly 10,000, 15,000 RPM, even less than that one. In the idle run, the velocity of the exhaust gases is very, very low. The turbo speed also is very low. So before raising the engine RPM or accelerating, you must run an engine fitted with turbocharger. You must run at least 2 minutes in idle run so that the lubricating oil reaches here. Same way, when you want to switch off the engine, you are running at full acceleration, running and suddenly came to the workshop or garage, you switch off the engine suddenly. What happens? A turbo which was running at 2,50,000 RPM keep on rotating, keep on spinning because of its own inertia. But whereas you have cut off the oil supply here, you have cut off the oil supply here. So there is no oil, but the turbo wheel is rotating on its inertia. What happens? There is a starvation for the lubrication. Same again, same problem. So sudden rising after starting is also problem to the turbocharger. Sudden stopping in the full RPM also is also problematic to the turbocharger. These are the affected bearings. This is not only because of this wear is because of some foreign particles entry from the engine oil which is coming through this pipe, and reasons behind that one one has to inspect. See, this fan is example. There is a fan, ceiling fan in our home. Whenever you switch on you supply the power to the fan, it keeps spinning, keeps revolving. But when you switch off the power, suppose it is running at high speed, maybe at 5, when you switch off, does it stop immediately? No, it will not stop. It keeps on rotating for about 30-40 seconds, then it will stop. Even though power is disconnected there. Same way, even though you have switched off the engine, You have completely stopped the exhaust gas passages because of its own inertia. It keeps on running but without any lubrication. So here, run an engine low idle for 2 minutes before acceleration and before stopping of the engine. This is the main thing you have to do. This is one of the important maintenance steps. Whatever the oil is used in the engine for engine lubrication, same oil is used for the turbo lubrication also. So you must change the oil and filter as per the schedule recommended by the manufacturer without any extension. If you extend the oil change intervals, the result is like this. This is the filter, engine oil filter. See how it is choked. One of the reason of the extended oil change interval. It is clogged. It has run lot of carbon formation in the engine oil because of the extended hours. One is the extended hours, other one is the non-genuine oil also may be the reason. Here, what happens when the filter is choked like that? In the diesel engine, whenever the oil filter is choked, a bypass line is provided in the system, because if the oil is choked, filter is choked means oil will not pass through the filter. So there will be lubrication starvation to the bearings and other moving parts. There is every possibility immediate seizure of the bearings. To avoid that immediate seizure, there is a bypass line is provided in the oil line. So this unfiltered oil will go to the bearings. Instead of complete stoppage, it starts wearing out the bearings and gradually damaging the engine. This unfiltered oil, this oil with lot of carbon, this oil with kind of debris also will pass to the turbocharger, damaging the bearings and shaft, what I have shown in the previous slide. See the passage. This is a oil tube inside, how it is choked. This is one of the engine oil tube. Imagine such kind of choking is there in the turbo oil supply also. One is the extended oil change interval and usage of the non-genuine oil. The second one is, this is the result of overheating of the lubricating oil in the engine. This is the symptoms behind forming this kind of varnish of the engine oil has to be known. Same varnish is carried, same deposits are carried along with the oil to the turbocharger, again damaging the bearings and shaft. There is a sludge formation in the engine oil. The sludge is due to coolant mixing. This will go having water and other corrosive elements, damaging the turbocharger components, that is shaft, housing and all. This is the external wear of entering such dirty oil. Even sometimes oil storage also may be problem. Oil transportation also may be problem. There is possibility of silica entry, fine dust entry of inside the engine oil, and same will be passing on. This is the status of the thrust washer by circulation of this contaminated oil. We have seen the photos of the bearings which are worn out. One is cake formation, the second one is external wear, again the internal wear, and when the internal wear takes place, simultaneously wear takes place here also. Even housing also wears out. The housing is the most expensive item. This is expensive item. So all these things are damaged because of the contaminated oil. See this. Another reason of turbo failure. This is the air filter. Air filter is choked here. So insufficient amount of inlet air is going into the turbocharger compressor side, causes to leakage of the engine oil through the seal rings. Seal rings, why this happens here? The insufficient air goes here and enough pressure is not developed here. When there is no sufficient air, sufficient pressure is not being maintained in the compressor housing. So there is no sufficient pressure means the pressure of the oil will be more than this pressure of the compressor housing. So oil starts leaking from this side. This is another way. And this is the, you can see the damage. See this damage of the exhaust wheel, damage of the compressor wheel. This is one reason, maybe because of the entry of the external debris here. Maybe filter might not have fitted properly, filter is punctured, lot of dust might have gone inside. Okay, faster wearing of the bearings, again excess radial clearance, making this shaft hitting the housing here, hitting the housing that side, damaging the compressor wheels. Few reasons have shown here. There are many reasons, but majority of the reasons behind the turbo failure is related to the engine issues. So one has to take care of the engine maintenance properly, and when some turbocharger fails, they have to analyze the root cause of the failure, and installation procedures have to follow, and operators have to be trained on the proper switch on and switch off practices. I am giving 2 pages of text here which will be useful for you. Thank you.